Y'all, I'm gonna try to do this in one take because as you can see, my hair is dry and boofy and I need to wash the fro. But I got some things on my mind. Today is Sunday. I did not go to church in person. I was online today. Um, and Man, y'all, it's so many voices out here. It's so many different voices. And it occurred to me, and I've been thinking about this lately, and I feel like it's God. um, I have never, I admit this, I have never read the Bible cover to cover. I've never. There are those stuck together pages, um, those little like Nahum and, Habakkuk and, you know, some of those books. I've never done a straight read through. And I've been feeling lately that I need and want to do that. And here's why. With all the voices out here, especially right now, I'm feeling kind of that Y2K-ish feeling. If you're too young to know what that is, going from the year 1999 into the year 2000, it was a mad rush of hysteria, of a lot of fear mongering, that the world was going to end. There was a lot of the things that are happening now in terms of that, you need to get food supplies, you need to get that dried food, survival kits, generators. There was a lot of ministers that were also doing a lot of the talk. I remember driving way out to some suburb, and I'm not going to call the minister's name, but pastor of a large church at the time. I don't know what's going on now, but it was a packed out Y2K meeting, and they sold a bunch of VHS tapes, of what to do, how to prepare, what the Lord is saying, a lot of prophetic things. And I do believe in the prophetic, don't get me wrong. But I remember during that time, it was so much fear. And I remember um, we got our little few canned goods and did our little fake version of stocking up. And if something had went down, we would have been out of here with the quickness, because we didn't have, these little cans of whatever was not sufficient. Okay. But at some point I realized I had experienced that when I was a teenager as well. It was like the world was coming to an end, the rapture was happening. I was full of fear. I remember waking up in the middle of the night and yelling for my mother, because at the time we had a one bedroom apartment and she and I shared a king size bed. So it was like a slumber party every night. But I woke up and she wasn't there, and I panicked. I was like, I'm thinking, oh, the rapture happened and I was left behind. That's when all those movies and stuff came out. For y'all who know, okay? And she was in the living room praying. She's like, what? Because she would do that. She would wake up in the middle of the night and go pray. And sometimes I woke up and she was standing over me praying. um, I say all that to say that it's a lot going on in the world right now. There's a lot of voices everywhere, politically, within the church, within other religions. It's just a lot. And I feel like that those of us that grew up in the church, we really need to find our balance, because that's partially what my journey of, like, losing my religion has been about over the last few to several years, honestly. Um, I realized that a lot of the things that I was fearful about, and I'm not saying that we don't have, cause for pause or cause to be concerned, and that we need to just really be tuned in. I do agree with that. But I feel like these are the times that there can be a lot of manipulation as well, in all forms. And we really have to watch out for that. My goal is to know God, to have a relationship with God. And I am a Jesus girl, I'm a Christ girl, but I don't have to be called Christian. I did a video about this before, because Christian and Christianity is a religion. I am a Christ follower, okay? And with that said, I think I'm about to go on another leg of a journey. And I feel like that I encourage all of us to get it for yourself. And sometimes that's not, like, for instance, there's so many versions of the Bible. This is a Woman Thou Art Loose Bible that TD Jakes put out years ago. I literally got this thing in 2011. Okay. When I say I'm going to be reading, I'm talking about more of a study. Okay. More of a going through and not just getting the highlights or the highlight reels that people do. I'm going the before and the after, okay? Because sometimes I think you're not given the full context, and that's not the minister's fault, that's not the preacher's fault. If you can read, you go in there and read it for yourself so that you can get a clear picture and understanding. And then we all have direct contact or connect to God. That is my spiritual belief, that I don't have to go between anyone else, that I have a direct connect to God through Christ. Okay. That doesn't mean I don't need a pastor or a teacher. I'm not saying that, but I also think that we lean and depend too much on what other people say. Thus, me circling back to the fact that I've never read the Bible cover to cover. And I'm about to. And I'm not saying that I'm going to necessarily read it directly from Genesis to Revelation, but I am definitely going to read and especially study out those places that maybe I've avoided. I am proud and happy and thank God to say that I got over a long time ago avoiding the book of Revelation. I have actually read the book of Revelation multiple times, because that is how at peace I am with my relationship with God. I am no longer afraid. Do I want to be here during a bunch of the stuff? Like, it's so many pre-trip, post-trip. Like, if you don't know what any of this stuff is, then that means you're not churched. And that's not necessarily a negative thing, but you do need to get clued in on the times that we're living in and what you need to do, and just make sure that you have your life right with God. And that's a hard thing. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm gonna go wash the fro. All right.